Hmm. We're live, Mona.
Hi, Jeanette. Happy Wednesday. I
I
had
was
to think.
like,
I had to
happy,
think.
happy something.
I had to think there for a moment. I think
Happy Wednesday, and I am
I'm gonna say.
relaxed.
I'm gonna say
I can-
moody Wednesday. I'm not as
Yeah,
upbeat as I usually am.
that is true. You are not. That
No.
is very, very true. I've seen you, and I was, and then I've just been kind of thinking through what happened last night. But, I don't know. So tonight,
It is what
folks,
it is.
yeah, it is what it is. So we are Black Independent. We're going to break down the election results from across the country last night. Left some of us feeling a bit with a little malaise. We were kind of like not sure how to feel because we do have a larger goal, and but this one was, as I said before, going to be really important, and it's going to say something, and we have to really understand what that message is for a Black voter. But there were several races exposed that exposed a growing divide, I think, inside the Democratic Party. And that's between the progressive Democrats, the moderate Democrats, and I dare say the Black Democrats. I truly believe that this is going to be something that emerges over time, given all of the differences that we've experienced. Different experiences in the last, I would say, 10 to 12, 15 years. So one of the most watched races, Mona, was in Texas, where Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, she lost a major, the most important Senate primary. This
Mhm.
is where I think you get your kind of funk. Yeah, like you're in a funk a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody knew who that little snotty nosed white boy was.
Nobody knew who he was, and then they knew who
Yeah.
he was.
Hmm.
So we'll also look at what happened in the North Carolina and the Arizona primaries, and what these results may signal heading into the midterms on November the 3rd. And then we're going to shift a little bit, you guys, to a much bigger global issue: the growing tensions between the United States and Iran, and what another Middle East conflict could mean for us in America. So I'm going to ask you guys to stay with us.
To the Black Independent, where we speak truth to power, unapologetically.
For too long, the black vote has been treated like a given, but we're not property. We're not pawns. We are the descendants of those who built this nation. And now, we're demanding tangibles, not tokenism, because the era of blind loyalty is over. This is the Black Independent. Let's get to work.
Let's get to work, Mona. Let's get to work.
I'm tired of working.
I'm. I know you. I know you're not feeling like up and ready to go. I'm sort of
Well, and listen,
channeling some positive energy. I'm
I'm,
channeling positive energy your way, because you are
I,
going to be critical over the next few months.
I'm trying to feel it, but I think about the poor people who are out of the country who are
Uh-huh.
stuck, you know,
Uh-huh.
over in the Middle East because of the
Uh-huh.
war and they can't get home. So I'm like, oh, I need a
Yeah,
vacation. What the heck?
I know, because everything is being done, so it seems, haphazardly.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's a crazy time we're in. But as I think I've said before, it's a time that Black folks who are typically on the bottom of the race hierarchy, you guys, I'm going to always remind you that there is a race hierarchy and Black people are on the bottom. And if you ask anybody, stop them in the street and say who's on top, who's on bottom, and it's pretty obvious that they will say Black folks are on the bottom.
So why would they care if you're not Black? Why would I care if I'm not Black, non-melanated? Why would I care that you're on the bottom?
Well, truth be told, the country as a whole does not care that you're on the bottom. In fact, it's strategic and it's by design, and all the policies have engineered it as such a way that even as immigrants come in, they know who's on top and who's on bottom, and they support policies that maintain rather than change. And if I don't care, let's say I'm not Black, it's obvious that I am, but if I don't care, then I'm probably going to vote for policies or people who support policies that maintain the status quo. Because as if you rise as a group, that means I lose something. And we get back into that argument.
Not necessarily, but that is what they believe.
Yeah, that is what they believe, because I get, if I have all the money and I have to bring you into that loop and give you some of that money, now I have less money. That's pretty much how it works in general. So, guys, I am Jeanette and I am your co-host.
And I'm Mona. And Jeanette, tonight we're going to talk about the results. And I think, and I've been seeing this, I think, where these results now they're exposing something that a lot of political observers have been talking about, for the last couple of years. That party, the Democratic Party, and I kind of felt that I could almost say maybe 10, 15 years ago, is not unified.
Yeah.
It's always, it appears that we have to give. We have to give. We have to wait. It's not now. I can remember that race last night almost reminded me of the governor race here. Okay.
Oh, wow. How so? How so? Explain.
So, and I just think the Democratic Party be doing all kind of like shenanigans, right?
Yeah.
Andrew Gillum. No way he shouldn't have lost that.
I remember that.
No way he should have lost that. And particularly when you look at how it plays down from the governor and all of the races down, you'll see where Democrats split. Because if people voted by their party, blew all the way down, like they tell you to,
right,
then he would have won along with all the other Democrats. Because a lot of Democrats won in that in their seats. That was statewide. And he did not.
Yeah. What if in the United States of America, by design, there are certain of you, Black folks, that cannot win. And the reason that you cannot win is because the system, and that's Democrat and Republican, sort of in the background gang up against you, and you don't even realize that you are fighting something much bigger than maybe the opposition party. You're fighting something much bigger than that. And there is no way that you can win unless, and so but don't come and say to me, well, Barack Obama got through. Well, yes, he did. And that was sort of the phenomenal That was sort of the, oh no, my God, this is possible. And they then went in those back rooms and said, we can never let this happen. And what we think is, Mitch McConnell went back there and talked to the Republicans and said he'll be a one-term president. But think about the fact that these parties do cross lines with regard to their ideologies. And one of the things that I think they all share in common is some variation of white supremacy and that need to maintain social positioning or group positioning. And so I looked at what happened with Jasmine, and I'm going to call her authentic Jasmine. Authentic Black does not sell well. I'm just going to say, here are the results from last night. I was trying to look at a demographic breakdown, but it might have been too early for that. But authentic Black at high levels does not sell well. And Barack Obama was able to infiltrate through, back in 2004 when he gave that speech. There is no Black America or blue and red. There's only purple. I said to my mother then,
and you know damn well.
Yeah, but I said he's going to be president because he has figured out how to speak to the masses. He has figured that out.
Well, we got to stop. Because Trump knows how to speak to his crowd. We got to stop allowing this. And when we do that, we just perpetrate these things where it is now. Barack's been out of office how long?
2016, since 2016.
Okay, so 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And look at where we're at.
Because the backlash, because of the historical backlash.
Because we allow them grace when we cannot allow. This is what I'm saying. We can't keep saying, as the Democratic Party will tell us, moving forward, particularly with the race in Texas. Okay, guys, we got to come together now. We got to come together. Everybody's going to have to come together and get this guy, James Talarico, elected.
Right.
I say
right.
no.
So you know,
no.
Okay, I hear you.
Because it will be the same thing. We will be pacified when we.
Okay. It's time for my video. I have to go with my video because you are talking about something that I think you have said for a very long time, and that is that we have to stop the blind loyalty and thinking that we're going to get something when nothing was ever really put on the table in the first place. So
absolutely.
we got to play my video because
which one?
Lucy, Charlie Brown.
Okay.
I need to play Charlie Brown. All right, bring up Charlie Brown. And here we go with Charlie. Let's hope it. Oh.
Charlie Brown, oh Charlie Brown.
I can't believe it. She must think I'm the most stupid person alive.
Come on, Charlie Brown. I'll hold the ball and you kick it.
Hold it? Ha! You'll pull it away and I'll land flat on my back and kill myself.
But Charlie Brown, it's Thanksgiving.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, one of the greatest traditions we have is the Thanksgiving Day football game. And the biggest, most important tradition of all is the kicking off of the football.
Is that right?
Absolutely. Come on, Charlie Brown. It's a big honor for you.
Well, if it's that important, a person should never turn down a big honor. Maybe I should do it. Besides, she wouldn't try to trick me on a traditional holiday.
Of course not.
This time I'm gonna kick that football clear to the moon.
it peculiar, Charlie Brown, how some traditions just slowly fade away?
So, I'm gonna say,
No, I feel
sorry,
like I feel like you felt like Charlie Brown
I,
after
I,
that
I,
lesson.
I'm gonna start saying, hello, Dem-Dems. Hello, Dem-Dems. Because how dumb
It's
can you be to keep falling for the same okie dokie?
keep
Okay?
falling for the same okie doke. We don't have a plan though. And I think we can have a plan, but I don't
Mhm.
think the plan copies maybe what Republicans have done or what Democrats have done in the past. There has to be a plan. And the plan can't be maybe what we saw from Jasmine Crockett, because we know that white America does not have a true stomach for that, truly, because that becomes the Lucy with the football thing, where everybody was just clapping for Jasmine Crockett last year. She was the darling. She was out there raising money, and I just heard black and
Wasn't
white
she?
America, mainly
Yes,
white America, huh?
yes. I said, wasn't she just, she was being their pit bull anytime they needed to
Mhm.
push her out for
She was on
anything.
all the stations. She was on social media.
She
She
was
was
everywhere.
everywhere. She was everywhere.
And
So how?
who ever heard of this young guy
Yep.
who I don't, and I believe he might be. I'm not going to even believe anything because I'm going to say I believe he might be a good guy. I'm not going to even say that. I don't believe anything about it. I'm a
Okay.
neutral on him, because sometimes if they would let these things play out, right, just play
Hmm.
out on its own without behind the scene manipulating the situation, which they did.
Right.
And this is the thing
I think
sticks because all I kept hearing is, well, the consultants don't believe that she can win. But I don't believe he can win.
well, she's not, this is what they're saying. She's not electable. We do not believe she's electable. In fact, there was the one woman who was played over and over again on social media platforms. Um, she was crying. She was so tearful, but that
Mhm.
she loves Jasmine Crockett, but she couldn't vote for her because she doesn't think she can win, and we need to win, which speaks to the white men speak of she's not electable. And why is she not electable? Because she is black. And yes, she is black, but she's not any type of black, because you've got your respectable black and then you have your non-respectable black. And somewhere on that continuum, she was too close to the non-respectable black
How is she
than say a Barack
respectable?
Obama.
She's smart. She's
Come
how
on.
is this? How is this man electable when what was the last senator who ran? Nobody even know who this guy is.
Talarico
Yeah,
got a lot of
but
money when they realized that Jasmine
what
was
was the
gaining.
last senator?
He ran
What was
for the
that last?
Simpsons.
What was the last senator who ran? And I think he ran against Ted Cruz. I mean, he couldn't win.
Oh,
And
Beto O'Rourke.
yes, and everybody knew who he was.
Mhm. Yeah. Texas is jerry rigged.
Yeah,
Texas
they
is
all
very,
the same.
Texas is
Well,
highly gerrymandered because of the high minority population compared to the white population, and yet it's a solid red state, or has traditionally been a solid red state. And the Democrats are just biting, they're chomping at the bit because they think they have a chance right now with all of the negatives, to actually take Texas this time. And they didn't want to chance it with a black woman, an
okay.
unapologetic black woman. I mean, there are
Well,
apologetic black women, Kamala Harris, and then there are unapologetic black women, and that would be a Jasmine Crockett. And even black people needed her to be a little more apologetic. We talked earlier. She needs to be softer. She needs to be whatever. She couldn't match maybe a Trump's energy, who actually is the president a second term. She couldn't match that energy. It had to be something else.
Marjorie Taylor Greene. She can't. Why is that? Because, you know,
she's black.
To me, he's too soft.
She's black and she plays into a stereotype created by them for us, where the larger white America rejects anytime it looks like we become overly assertive or in your face. It takes them back to that scary black woman, that myth. I'm going to call it a myth. Black men have brought into that too. I mean, it's the stereotype. That's who we are.
We have saying that we can't let them write our narrative. Who are they?
They already wrote it. Our narrative has been written. We have to unwrite it.
Yeah, we got to change it. We can't keep falling for it. Because who are you to tell me anything? You have no morals, no character. Why are we taking?
Here's the problem, though.
No conscience. They are the super predators.
Here's the problem.
That is never going to go out of my head what Hillary Clinton said.
Yeah, I know. You bring that up every single, but you know what? All right, that is a part of the history. And yes, we got labeled that, but we're also labeled as angry black women, right? And we're also afraid as politicians, or as we become black elites in society, we are afraid to ask for or demand black specific policies. And here's what I found. Check this out. So Talarico, it was reported, refuses to answer reparations questions as Crockett backs federal efforts. She backs federal efforts, but Talarico was, I'm gonna give it in quotations, smart enough to not touch it with a 10-foot pole. If he were a nobody without potential, he might have touched it. Marianne Williamson touched it a lot, but there was no chance in hell she was ever going to become. So she could gin up the black base, no skin off her back. But the skin in the game is at the top. You either embrace black folks on black specific issues, or you don't. If you do, you lose. She lost. And I can't say that was the only reason, but I will say from our discussion Sunday night with ADOS, you got to change that message, because the majority of society does not believe, including black folks, black immigrants, and even some black ADOS people themselves do not believe that you are deserving. And for a candidate to take that as it's a part of their campaign, not that she took it as a part of her campaign, because you asked me, well, what was her campaign platform? I can't say that I don't know. She's responding to what she knew and understood that black people need. I'm not going to say what her platform was, but she ventured to say the word reparations, and she lost, just as I predicted.
I don't think it was that. The fix was in.
It was the fix was in, but this did not help her.
Even when they did the when he did the late night show, you remember when she did the late night show?
Oh yeah,
and they made a big thing out of it, and that kind of pushed them up a little. But it might all backfire on him, because I think the Republicans probably wanted him to run against them as a weaker candidate. Democrats fell into it. We'll see how it play out.
I don't know, because I heard it both ways. I heard that they feared Talarico, because of his kinship from a Christian standpoint with the Bible Belt, especially in Texas, and to position him against the crooks over there on the Republican side, Cornyn and Paxton, was the perfect, sort of the perfect storm, these two crooks and him, right? So they kind of felt that was the way to go. Democrats, however, well, that's what Democrats felt, I think. So they poured the money into Talarico for that reason. And he is quick on his feet. He knows how to answer a question, and he can answer it pretty well and calmly. And the comfort that he gave white people, the comfort, and that's a key word.
Too soft, too wimpy.
You call it soft. You call it soft, but
soft,
it's a comfort. The new dog whistle is how comfortable can I get white MAGA and white moderates, white Democrat moderates with me compared to the angry Black woman. He doesn't have to say it. All he has to do is be that person. Now, the angry Black woman may have all kind of degrees and all kind of experience and have been in the bullpen and fought the great fight. But all I got to do is be that little angel that with that cherub look and be able to talk a really good game, because he does. And I'm not going to call it a game, but he has some pretty good answers for things. But he doesn't have the experience. He doesn't have the experience.
He reminds me of Robin. He looks like Robin, Batman and Robin.
Oh, yeah. That's so interesting. He does. He looked like he could put on that little outfit.
Little sidekick. That's what I'm saying. And Texas is a rough Longhorn state, okay? Some rough people. When you plan this political game, you got to get in the belly of the beast.
I know, but he doesn't have to, because he's going to be puppeted all the way through. I truly believe he's going to be seen as a good cop. He's going to be seen as the good, angelic, because that contrast is necessary at this point to be able to pull the evangelicals out of the pits of hell that they have put themselves in, right? So they have to demonstrate this is what a Christian looks like. So he is playing the role, and I'm saying playing the role because maybe he's not playing the role, but they are using him just like they're using Trump. They're now using him to have that, excuse me, I was eating potato chip, have that very angelic presence that will pull some his way. And the fact that he's white and comfortable is the dog whistle of the day. How comfortable are the white people with him versus her?
Are you saying that the Democrats are trying to pull people from the right? And that if that's the case, that's always a problem.
Yeah, I am saying that.
Yeah, it's a problem. And
it hasn't worked in the past, but I am saying that.
And it's the same thing what happened with Kamala Harris when she brought on James.
You're bringing up Kamala Harris, right? So Kamala strategically in the last maybe week or so supported Jasmine Crockett, which is kind of the same strategy Hakeem Jeffries used when it was with Mondani. He was kicking and screaming, but at the last minute, he had to jump on board. Kamala's rationale or her reasoning might be different, but I believe the handlers for the Democratic Party said, she's not going to win, but you're going to hang on to the Black vote because you've got future aspirations. You're going to have to go and endorse her. Well, today, she endorsed Talarico And I'm like,
it's all
it was just like that. There's no rationale behind it. There's no thought behind it. It is today. And
no,
yes,
it
there
is
was a
rational.
movement to bring us all together, but dang, Black people like some genuineness about
It's a
stuff.
rationale and it's a thought behind it. It's because they know damn well after last night, a lot of Black people were going to be mad as hell, particularly what happened in Dallas and Houston with the election. Although at that point, she couldn't have made any difference, even if the people who didn't get a chance to vote, she wouldn't have been able to get that many votes. So he had really won the election, but she is being used too as a puppet to go out and try to pull us together. Because first thing this morning, probably not first thing this morning, I don't know when, but sometime this afternoon,
right,
he's already going after her base, asking for donations.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it ain't just
I got it in my email queue.
Yeah, so the Democratic Party is going around. Why are we spending this kind of money on an election in Texas like that? Nah, I would never give money to the Democratic Party ever again anyway. And I don't think we as Black people should give money to the party. We should give our money to individuals.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with that. But Texas,
the candidates.
Texas is sort of, I keep saying this, but Texas is the bellwether. But it was actually for Black folks, it was also the bellwether for you in the primary to see which way that went. The problem, though, I see with Black people, and I do not have the numbers. I looked for them, but I didn't see the.
I couldn't find them either, but I think she did good. She was able to organize, get close to 1.1 million people.
Well, that yes, she got 1,067,000, etc., and he got 1,000,000 too. So yes, she did. I mean, they did that, and I believe the Republicans got what did the Republicans do?
Just a little under 1 million, I believe.
I think they did outperform them.
Yes.
And so that tells you that Talarico is really going to need her million. He's going to need her to get on board. And that's what good Democrats do. Just so that you know, good Democrats do that.
So, you know how they play games and strategize without, I don't know if they have any Black consultants when they're doing whatever they are doing.
Yeah. They don't. No.
I put our votes behind the Republican.
I say they don't have Black consultants, but to make it in the white man's world, having been in corporate America, right? To make it in the white man's world, you really have to think like a white man. I didn't say a white woman or whatever. If you want to make it at the top, you want to get to the top, you have to now figure out how to look like them, dress like them, think like them. At least that's the way it was in the 80s and the 90s. Definitely that way, unless you decided I'm not. And if you do that, you might as well walk away and quit and go do something else where you're in more control. And I think that's what has to happen, not just in corporate America, but it also needs to happen in politics as well. I think we don't win until we take control over our own destiny. And
how does that look? How does that look? How does that look? Because it can't look like it's been looking. We can't vote in that race. Either we stand down in that race or put the vote behind the Republican, one of the Republicans that you want.
I think the way it looks is going to be strange to some, but we're going to have to find a Trojan horse. Trojan horse is not Black.
Why?
candidate becomes a lightning rod. And you have to be, in my opinion, more strategic than to put a lightning rod out there. But the Trojan horse cannot be a Jasmine Crockett, who is the lightning rod, but it can't be a Barack Obama either, because he is the one who looks for the compromise, so much so that Black people end up losing and they don't actually get.
I could bet it could be whatever we want if we sit it out, or if we say, if those people in Texas.
You don't have time to sit it out. You have to be more strategic than all in, all out. You have to be all in. You cannot be all in. You cannot be all out. You have to be a thinking person from one day to the next, from 1 week to the next, from 1 month to the next, from one election to the next. You cannot.
And I am thinking what I said.
I totally reject that.
That we will put the underdog in office on the Republican side.
What does that mean, Mona?
That means that the Black vote goes to one of the Republicans in November.
No.
Yes, it is the only way. Yes, because if we just
it's not the only way. It is not the only way.
It might not be the only way. It is a strategy. Listen,
okay. I love you to death, but it's a bad strategy.
No, it's not.
Okay, but I think it's more so you find that person who's not the lightning rod that I mentioned before, but you also find the one who's not so compliant that nothing really happens.
And we can do that.
Wagon to that person, you strategize with that person how to get pro-Black policy passed.
Yes. And we can do that, but we'll have to do that the next 4 years.
But pro-Black isn't necessarily, we're going to have reparations tomorrow. Pro-Black is Supreme Court justices. Pro-Black is putting the right people in place. All right. I'm going to be quiet.
I'm saying just in that particular race. In that particular race, we could do one or two things.
In what? The Texas? What? You can court
in it or put the Republican back in office.
You know what? I'm going to take us back historically, because I think this is what we're missing. You don't know your history. You repeat the same thing over and over. But Frederick Douglass did not have a whole army of folks. He curried favor with Lincoln. Lincoln didn't think you guys were all that bright, but he was enamored, I think, a little bit with the fact that Frederick Douglass was as smart as he was, and actually took advice from Frederick Douglass, much to his against his own advice, because he didn't think that the Black man could be of equality to the white man. But when it came strategically necessary to allow those Black soldiers, those Black, what do they call them? Contraband, to join the Civil War, they did. And man, they ended up winning the war. And he was reelected during wartime. Somebody tell folks that just because there's a war out there doesn't mean that we stop elections, by the way. But it's, how do you strategically and smartly be in the ear of the decision makers, have enough gumption to be in their presence so that you begin impacting policy in such a way that it doesn't take yelling and screaming. It doesn't take overly compromising. It takes looking for the opportune moment and striking. That was Frederick Douglass. Now, let's fast forward Martin Luther King, right? Martin Luther King, my mom said, man, I knew this was going on, but I had nothing to do with it because we were the Army brats and we were doing the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and whatever else. And I just learned how to be a patriot, if you will, as a third, fourth, and fifth grader. So I'm looking at that to say, well, what did MLK do? I've said this before. He strategically used the technology of the day, got them young people to sit at those counters and walk across that bridge and walk through the downtown streets, have those water hoses turned on and the cameras was on. And these were shots around the world. Same thing happened in Vietnam. It was the technology that got people on board. He used that, and he was in the ear of the president. Nobody's in anybody's ear.
Okay, so we don't. I would do something different. We've done all that, and Frederick Douglass, I do might like some of the stuff he did, but one of his major decisions, I just can't really follow that Negro. So it's very hard to, look.
Because you're looking for the perfect Negro. Are you looking for the perfect Negro?
No, I'm not. I'm looking.
You're not looking for the perfect Negro.
I'm not looking for the perfect Negro. I do like what King did, Marcus Garvey, Jesse Jackson, all of our leaders, and the progress that they got us to. I like where they got us to.
Or like free lunch. What are we talking about for breakfast and stuff like that?
What?
I mean, tell me how the difference in style, these two guys who had the ear of the president and were able to move agendas versus the Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and others that I can't necessarily name off the top of my head. Tell me how we work this, because we're at a juncture where the window of opportunity is presenting itself as the country totally crashes, because we're in a rapid decline, and something has to happen on the other side.
I just believe if we keep falling and falling, that nothing will change. And I think it needs to crash to get.
But I'm telling you,
to get the respect that needs to be given. Okay,
yeah.
We could sit out. Now, this is just my belief, because you know how I am. The same way with Hillary Clinton. I could not vote for Hillary Clinton. I did not vote for Hillary Clinton. Now, this thing in Texas, I can't vote for it one way or the other, but if I was there, I would not be voting for him. I just wouldn't. And I would encourage all the people who would listen to me not to vote for him as well.
Yeah. I'm a little different on that one, but okay. Because right now I'm not feeling like, okay, I'm going to vote for him. I'm going to vote for him with a plan in place as to what my vote gets. Don't be looking up in the air like I just said something crazy.
Yeah, because your vote ain't gonna get shit. Because your vote ain't gonna get shit, because they're gonna really tell you that, oh, we didn't need your vote. Your vote isn't gonna get. Every time we have done this, what have we got in return?
You see those two right there? You keep telling me that even with the state of the country as it is and where we anticipate it will go, total to the bottom, it'll be another Lucy in the football moment.
Mm-hmm.
We set ourselves up to hit the ground on our asses after every single election, and the midterms will likely be no different.
It's going to be no different, because what we have to look at is how the Senate would play out. So we'll just have to get it from somewhere else. I would be willing to let Texas stay red. That's just my thought. I will be willing to let it stay red. Now, what we have to realize is to get Arizona,
Rather
Arkansas,
than
North Carolina, other red states.
why wouldn't you focus on, because you're pissed? Is that what it is?
No, it's not that I'm pissed. I could be pissed. Pissed might be a word, but disrespected, disregarded. You know,
Then take
not,
it.
not valued. You know,
Then rather than taking your ball and going home, you figure out how to
I'm not
use it.
taking my ball and going home. I'm drawing a line in the sand.
You're going to North Carolina and Arkansas, but you have a presence in Texas at this point that
Yes.
could allow you to garner some kind of policy change in your favor should Talarico get into that seat.
How? No,
And you become instrumental.
No.
Because I don't think I think we're immature voters, like you said.
Right.
And we don't really play the game intelligently, where as we get good candidates, whether you think she's good or not, that's relative, but we've had also good candidates in the past that once they lose, even if it's they almost won, we don't revisit them, and we don't put them in this pipeline of, we're going to really do what we can to get you into that seat next time. We don't do that. And I'm saying, when they're able to garner the kind of following that they do, we have to learn to say, all right, Jasmine, here's what you did right. Here's what you did wrong. Here's what we're doing. We're going to take that 1,067,000 that you were able to garner, and we're going to go to the Talarico campaign, and we're going to talk to the Democrats. We're going to talk to the Democrats on a national level. You want Texas, you go through us to get Texas. When did that not become a strategy for anybody?
She could take that million. Who are the two Republicans who's going to be running? Do you remember?
What do you mean? Against Talarico?
Yes.
Cornyn and Paxton. Senator Cornyn is in the very, 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 very old white guy, and Paxton, the pervert.
Well, okay. So, Lord. Okay. So, I will go to one of those, the one who they don't think could win, and say, we're going to bring our 1 million to you, but here's what we want.
Oh God, what is up with that? I'm sorry.
That is what Douglas did.
That is not what Douglas did.
It is. It is what he did.
All right. You know about a strategy that I don't. So tell me what Douglas did.
I'm just saying that's what I would do. And now the next time around, when the Democrats want to play fair, then we could come back there. On top of that, we have to move the Democratic Party really back to the center left. We're never going to benefit. They're moving to the center right.
Try to get something. Try not to just go and throw yourself to the wolves. Try to get something. And the get something is obviously not with the
I don't want something.
You're talking about two degenerate potential Republican senators vying for that seat, vying for Texas. Talarico is way the lesser of two evils, if in fact you feel that you've been rejected by the.
How do we know that? What you know about him?
I know that of the two parties, I side with.
I'm messing with you.
You can mess with me, but I'm just saying to you, for anybody who really feels that way, I feel that the Democrats of the two parties have more in common with than the other.
Yes, as a whole, I would agree with that. But as independents, and for us to be able, if the party would have stayed neutral, as they like to say they do in the primaries, right? But they're always behind the scene doing this
Of course
kind of
they never, if they say it,
BS,
they're never neutral.
right?
And if the person is black, you know this, and you know this from local politics. They don't really put the money behind the black politicians
So
because
then
they're
why
not
do why do we
electable, which means they're not white enough
so why
to
do we keep
compete.
supporting?
Well, I'm an independent. You're an
Right,
independent. What can I
and
tell you?
that's why I have no problem putting the vote with the Republican.
I know, but the thing about being a black independent is that you are going to be smart about the vote, and there's nothing smart about putting a vote behind the Republicans. I can't see it. And yeah, I
But
totally cannot see.
it is still some very conservative Republicans. We will have to make sure that this guy is doing what we want, giving us what we want, because the Democrats aren't going to do it. They have to be shown. They're not going to do it.
They're not going to do it without leverage. You have leverage if you understood how to use it.
Yeah.
After
the
every
idiots-
election, in
so-
every
so-
primary, if
so
you
the
are
idiots-
neck and neck,
the idiots haven't been using it, huh?
that's correct.
Okay. Well, that's dumb on their part. Why do we still follow them then?
The idiots are the black folks. I'm not even talking about, I'm not talking about white
No, I'm
Republicans.
talking about
I mean,
the idiot
Democrats.
Negroes too. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm talking about black folks because we don't seem, well, we don't all agree. There's a lot of folks out that might hear what you're saying, what I'm saying, and they just don't agree. Why can't we all be nice and just get along? So I'm going to go back to my famous pyramid. The reason why we can't be nice and get along is because we are perpetually on the bottom. We started out in slavery, we were on the bottom, and we have not been able to, as a group, advance up to the top. The white man, they started out on top and they are still on top. The white women are right underneath that, and they understand that they're only there because they are white women. There is no other reason for them to do that. So they, to keep that position, have to acquiesce to whatever mess they're getting. And right now they're getting a whole lot of mess. And yet, who do they vote for? That's right. They maintain the status quo. And everybody else who comes in between realize when they come, I got to get as far away from them black people as possible. Yeah, they are pretty cool. And yeah, they are controlling culture in terms of why America is great. But the power is really with the white folks. So we're going to gravitate toward them, which keeps us at the bottom. So I'm saying that until black people get strategic, until they get strategic as a group, and they start looking at the players on the board and start using the bishop and the rook and the knight in ways that they win, we're going to continue at the bottom. Our children will continue at the bottom in this new iteration of what America becomes. Because America has to become something different than what it was. There's no way we can go back to that.
Absolutely. And no way that we can even continue forward the way we continue. And it doesn't seem like we're making or demanding these changes that need to be happening.
You can't do it without leverage, and you have none. Or actually, you have it, but
I think we have.
Kamala had it, and she squandered it. And I even wrote some of the politicians that were decision makers to say, Kamala is in a position to run for president, but if she runs, she's not going to win. You know that, I know that, but she's feeling that she's going to win. But somebody needs to sit her down and say, you have leverage right now, because there's a lot of people that really don't want you to run, but you have leverage to say, I'm not going to run, but here's what I want in exchange. And what she wants in exchange has to be something where she's carrying Black ADOS. And I know she's not ADOS, but there has to be an alliance of Black people around the world, respecting the needs of each Black group on every continent. In this case, she could have carried the water, and Democrats could have won the day. She didn't do that because she had personal ambitions that had to be that got ahead of whatever else, and nobody else thought of it was a good idea. But that's where you had leverage, but you didn't take it. Same thing is happening right now with Jasmine Crockett. Same thing.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Yeah, because I can say something all day, but if I don't have a whole lot of people behind me, you look at me like I could beat your ass, and I'm not even worried about it. But if I had a whole lot of people behind me, you would think twice to say, "Wait a minute, I think we should join forces."
Mm-hmm.
It's just, to me, like, why aren't we doing that? So
listen, I was listening to Roland Martin, and I used to listen to him all the time. I forgot how much I kind of like used to enjoy his shows, right? And because it was good last night. He was saying how the divine not basically how we're gonna have to come together.
there's a group. There's a group.
And that is where we're liking. And if we could all come together and get behind these candidates in every city, we should be able to run the candidates that we want to run. And I'm not all talking about they're all going to be Black candidates, but candidates that are going to be pushing our agenda. Because everybody that push their candidates, the constituents have an agenda that they want from them.
Yeah. I'm glad he was talking about the Divine Nine. I think about the Divine Nine often. I think about the links.
You talk
I
about that, the Urban League.
I think about Urban League. I think about, it's like, why are the leads of all of these organizations not coming together and saying, we're in a very different time? How do we come together, create this coalition, and we go back to our folks and we begin choosing candidates or people that, even if they are not winning, they are out there building a base or a constituency that even as they lose, we sweep them up into this larger base. You have we have to start doing something very different than what we're doing, because the extremes of not participating or participating by giving the vote to the opposition is not a strategy. Well, it is a strategy, but it's a bad one. That's
so
fine.
Everybody's going to be fighting because the on the right, a lot of the Trumpers are mad with Trump.
Right.
And so, in my opinion, it feels as if the Democrats are trying to pull those people in.
Yeah, they are. They're going to do it again. They're going to try to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But they think when we try to do it with a Black woman, that's one thing. But they're going to try to do it with the white, angelic Christian boy. And I say that because that's what he looks like. But they're going to use him
You look like a choir boy.
Right. Picture, this is what Talarico is. Because somebody even wrote in one of the comments, Talarico for president. Mark my word, you're going to start seeing that movement happening. They're going to use Talarico the way the right figured out how to use Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Because Trump is transactional, so he's getting everything that he ever dreamed of. He gets to be rich, he gets to be a billionaire, he gets to control Gaza in perpetuity, he gets to be king of the crypto world, he gets to stay out of prison, transactional, and he gets that. But who's riding in on Trump? That's the deal. So the Democrats believe maybe we can turn Texas red, but we can't do it with that black woman, the angry black woman. But this guy that nobody knows, we're going to now create, because they love to create heroes. They make up and create their heroes. Charlie Kirk, Daniel Boone, you know, the Lone Ranger. They like to create heroes and make you think that they are, but you know, there's a lot of and I was watching, my brother shared something with in our family chat, and he said a lot of these heroes, cowboys, were actually black, because cowboys were black people and they were cattlemen. So how in the world did it all change where they became the cowboys, all the heroes, and black people have been just written out of the whole Western, taming the West and whatever else. But they create the heroes, but they don't really have any real heroes. So when they got to put up statues, what did they put up? General Lee, Bedford, Forrest Bedford, or whatever his name was. They put up
killers and rapists.
Yeah, they put up Confederate folks. It makes no sense.
Killers and rapists.
Killers and rapists. That's a good way to do it. So I just think that black people, as I said earlier, there's division within the Democrat Party, where you've got the progressive versus the liberals, but I would argue there's a third group that people need to pay attention to, and they need to pay attention to themselves, and that's the black group. What are you going to do? Jasmine just went and got 1,067,000 votes in a red state that the Democrats are, those other two factions in the Democrat Party are going to need. And she's got the attention of people like us in Florida and probably elsewhere.
All around the world.
Exactly.
At least the United States. Yes.
How do you use that to your advantage? And how do you stop doing what white America has trained you to do? And that is to divide, so that you cannot come together and think through, I've got something that you want, but you
do you think she should be on the campaign trail with James?
She could be, but it has to be strategic. It has to be strategic. And if you wanted to polish Jasmine up, talk to Jasmine. Whatever you do, it has to be strategic. It has to be real, right? Jasmine, I watched her put on pearls right after she declared, right? Jasmine put those pearls on for a reason. So the issue is one of strategy, and I can be natural. I can be authentic me. I could go and press my hair and still be authentic me, because I know I don't have to have pressed hair all the time. I can just do it. People need to be able to understand the role that they play in whatever the strategy is. And if Talarico is going to be the horse, then we've got to be able to position ourselves within Talarico to make sure that as the moderates and the progressives and the blacks are riding in together, everybody's getting what they need. And Talarico is the vehicle that makes white Christian nationalists rethink their position on, I am the greatest, I'm the most supreme. To your point, do I trust him? I don't know. He's white. And I already said white people always go home in the end.
Sure.
But you have to have something that they want, that they can't do without. And that's what saves you. But to just say, oh, you're going to vote, I'm going to count you as a vote. And they really have to measure that, especially white women, against protection.
And basically, that's what they're doing.
Well, we got to
they count us in, and if they keep saying we're the backbone, and if we saw what happened in the last elections, I mean, like, okay, then we got We got to get something.
But count us in with, it's kind of like me going into a store and giving them my money to get that thing that I want. I can't just go in the store and not exchange it with something. There has to be an exchange. It's as simple as that. And even if I get it on credit, I still owe you and I have to pay up, right? Even though I'm walking out and I haven't really given you the tender, I still owe you and I have to pay up. Now I got a liability, but I got to pay up and I know I have to pay up. Can't walk away from that. That's what we're not doing. We're not doing that. So that the election happens and all of a sudden there are bigger priorities than Black people getting reparations, or there are bigger priorities than Black people getting DC statehood, or there are bigger priorities than those things, the Voting Rights Act. There are bigger priorities. See what I'm saying?
Always. It's always
Right.
something.
Right. Unless I owe you something that now I have to pay up because it has, I mean, they're paying up with Trump, like in spades. Trump is getting everything that he bargained for. And they're paying up because they got what they want. And that is control, moving the country toward fascism so they could have perpetual control. White people, they got what they want. He's got what he wants. As hard as it is for them to give him what he wants, they are giving it to him because that was the deal. Black people, you are going to have to be more transactional, make the deal, and then win, and then time to pay up. Time to absolutely pay up. And I think that's what we're missing. The lessons are there all around us, and we're going with the old way of thinking. I think MLK was definitely moving in that direction when he said, let's go get my check or our check, or, I forget how he said it. But, there was the moment where he needed to go get the check and the white man said, oh, you mean I've got to pay up? And then he's no longer with us anymore.
We got to take you out.
They understand that transaction. We don't. We think that all I need to do is hold your hand. And we pretend that we're equal, and we pretend that we have equal access, and we really don't. So I want to see us. So I came out of the race in Texas with it's not a very different way of thinking, a more clear way of thinking, because I needed Texas to tell me in that race, with this very raw, authentic woman running with massive name recognition, as you say, around the world. If she doesn't win, that's a clear message to Black folk. And even if I become Barack Obama-ish, I'm just going to put it that way. At this point, we're so far gone that no Black person is going to work. Ask Tim Scott. Ask those folks who decided that they were going to go to the Hill for Trump and ended up not in his cabinet. There's a clear message of the direction the country is going in my opinion.
But, they don't have to be alike. I mean, it's just that she was there. She was doing a good job. They thought so. I thought so. It's a video I haven't seen, but
until you put her into one of the most powerful seats in the Senate, Texas, the number of votes.
Now,
yeah.
If you stay in that single district and run for something like that, that's okay. If you stay in the Black district, but that's what we got to say. Hey, then you need to stay in your white district. So what do you think?
Senate seat, yeah, except for the Senate seat, is not about white district, Black district. It is the state. State has to love you. State has to want you. It's the representative. She was safe until they redrew her lines and put too many white people in, and then she knew she couldn't win. And it should not be that way for us.
I can't think of the young man who I was supposed to get his speech. Who won her seat last night? Say his spiritual dad was Jeremiah Wright. So we know it's a fighter in that seat. So
Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see because I don't trust every black person that wins. We'll have to see.
I'm trusting every black person until they show me something different.
Okay.
I'm always gonna trust. Now, who I don't trust is those other people because we know who they are. Now, what we do have to understand now is this campaign money. It's a big mess.
Yeah.
It's a big mess. I don't care if you're black or white. You're taking money from any of those PACs, particularly APAC, and it's going to be difficult to find out who the money is coming from.
Right.
But if you take that money, then we know you have to do the bidding of what they want. So that's going to be a hard no.
That's true. Where the money's coming from is going to be really important. I think somebody said, it might have been you, that said they're becoming extremely smart about how to hide the money, and that Hakeem Jeffries is being used as a conduit for funneling AIPAC Jewish dollars in to get to these candidates.
Yes.
So somehow somebody's going to have to create the algorithm or the app that allows us to trace money no matter where it comes from. And
he's getting called out.
As my niece says, and they're going to have to stop playing in my face.
Absolutely.
They're going to have to stop doing that.
He's getting called out, and then he gets mad at you for you calling him out. Like, dude, what?
Yeah, he does. I hip news makes him look like a baby when he's on.
Look like a little bitch. Yes. So
hit a baby, but okay.
It was this either city council or county commission race, and it was maybe 4 blacks. It's a lot of people in this race, and they were calling out this black woman, and she's taking AIPAC money, and they were probably doing a form, and they called her out. She lost. Did you see that going around?
No. So you're telling me something new. And you're almost going to have to repeat that. What happened to her?
She lost her race.
Why did she lose it?
Because she was taking money from AIPAC. It was maybe 3 of them on there taking money.
Good for her. Good for the voters. Good for the voters.
And the other candidates called her out and said, she was taking the money. And we cannot allow you, because we've seen this now, when we allow you to take the money, and we realize when you look at, say, District 3 or District 4, I'm not sure if they were taking any of 8, but when we see very little change, very little progress, that's a problem.
Yeah. I think individual voters are the ones that we need to focus on. Karen Hunter, you were playing Karen Hunter earlier. And she kept saying, doesn't matter that it's who it is in the House. And you're kind of demonstrating that with this example of the voters deciding you're taking AIPAC money, so we're not going to give you our vote. We have to know the candidate and then make decisions about what they're doing or not doing. And AIPAC, if you're receiving AIPAC money, voters, you're going to have to make some decisions about that, because this, and we're going to get into this in a minute or so, but this partnership between the United States and Israel is not, I'm not going to say not who we are, because Lord knows we are a lot of things that you probably thought we weren't. But so I think that we have to, as voters, individual voters, stand on business. And if you can coalesce with other voters that could impact somebody's race to that extent, kudos to you.
Mhm. And
No.
you know, we have to look at little small things. Same thing with Talarico, where all these pikes start putting out these hit pieces on her, and it
Yeah.
made you come to something in the last special election for city council. Somebody for Naya Young, now on said that it was not their team who put out that piece on Reverend Scott, but they
Yeah.
did not say anything. And you can't want to win so bad that you're going to destroy, tear. They want to tear up each other. That's fine, but we can't have that kind of stuff going on against us. So that right there telling me that these special groups are working behind the scene for you and being quite nasty.
Yeah. So those special groups get to survive because of the kind of policies that were put in place that allow them to collect all this money and attack on the levels that they do, and where the politicians can say, it's not me, I can't control them. We have to stay separate.
And you can't control it, or you need to denounce it. Just like they want to always tell us to denounce individuals or any damn thing, we have to say, you will either denounce it or we denounce you.
Yeah, but I'm going to go to, and we can get into the bombing that's going on over in Iran. But I think it is a matter of who wins the elections. And then, as Karen Hunter said, and I was trying to decide, do I like what she's saying or not? I don't know.
How long
But
did you listen to her?
You had her on, and I was like cooking dinner, and I had it on in the back. You didn't know I was listening, but I was. All of a sudden, I heard Karen Hunter, and I was like, oh, I guess she's going to play something off of Karen, but you didn't. But it was enough where I said, I don't know if I like what she's saying or not, but what I gleaned for it, as I kind of put what her thinking with my thinking, is that bottom line is it's you, the voter, and your ability to develop coalitions that allow you to leverage your power and make Talarico in this case, or whoever else is out there, do what you say as a group, because they listen to the power. Trump listened to, he doesn't have to anymore. Please, MAGA, you need to understand he does not. And Marjorie Taylor Greene realized he doesn't have to or care to listen to you, but they need to listen to their constituents. And if you don't have the power, Black folks at 12% of the population, and I think women are around 12% of the voting electorate. In fact, I pulled that up. I could show it. You know what I am, because this is what I mean when I'm talking about power. We've seen this several times. So sometimes I think repetition is the way to go. I thought I was going to be able to pull that up like a champ. And
I don't see it on my end.
I know you don't, because I thought I was going to be able to do it like a pro.
But while you're doing that,
scrolling, go ahead. In fact, I may not do it at all because I'm still scrolling, but go ahead.
I think I just lost my train of thought.
All right, no problem. I think I got it. It should. The gods do not want me to show this. So, but women are, Black women are about 12% of the voting electorate. Black men might be somewhere around that as well. And we just have to figure out, that's a big piece of the the Democratic voting electorate. And if white Democrats want to win, they have to be able to either get more Hispanic or Black. And since Black women are voting 92% at 92% level, that's almost all of us. It behooves them to really work on that. But we work on getting us to be a part of their 42%, which is below the Republicans at a consistent 48%. They need a much smaller percentage to get out of the other groups. That's why they don't respect them as much, right? Nobody gets respect, actually, if you think about it, across the white population when it comes to the voting. But that's what the white population is up against. How do they convince more of the other, who they typically disrespect, to vote with them so they can push the policies that they are pushing, even though they seem to advantage no matter what party is in place? I think you've said that, so I'm repeating you.
No, that's true.
Yeah, I agree with you. When you drop a nugget, you drop a nugget, and I have to use it from time to time, but attribute it to, this is something you say, and I think it's right on point. So
what do you think about this war?
I'm actually disgusted that we're in this war. I cannot, for the life of me, believe that the United States, white America, has allowed us to use this war to do several things. And one of them is to distract from the Epstein files. I'm just going to call it what it is. And the other is to clear the way for a Gaza resort that allows them to move freely within that region to take it over and build it for white people.
So my thing is,
to make money, excuse me, but go on.
I've been trying to follow it, and the prime minister in Israel keeps saying it's biblical. I don't know why our scholars aren't coming out and saying whatever that was said in the Bible those many years ago are not talking about. Can you just make believe that this is the land that they were talking about? Is it okay for black men's, white men's, everybody to have the type of killing that they're having? Because the first thing they did Saturday when we woke up, hit the school. Why hit the school? That I don't understand.
Did they hit it on purpose, or were they just doing what they always do, and that's being very reckless and haphazard with no real plan for what they're doing?
They hit it on purpose. Someone said to help them from not growing up, resenting them, fighting back.
I thought of that.
Don't know. So Albert said that, because I was like, these people are just evil.
There is a message in that to a country where people are bombing the children, and that is to say, we're going to stop your whole existence in terms of your future.
And I'm just
if that's true, that's kind of an interesting.
So you have a problem when they come back and hit your schools?
Well, of course,
because that's definitely what I would do. See, I don't want to hit you, but I damn sure don't want you hitting me. But if you hit me, I got to hit you, and I got to hit you back 10 times worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is crazy to me.
It's strategic. It's strategic. It is strategic, definitely. And the only problem is we've got the Keystone cops in front of it, and it's
Israel
about
the whole Middle East. Israel want to control the whole Middle East.
Yeah.
How are we going to let that happen?
So if Iran is one of the most powerful countries in the Middle East, it has influence in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and in Yemen. The tension between Iran, Israel, and the United States has been building for years, for years.
Yeah.
So I think Israel sees Iran's nuclear ambitions as a major threat, because I think they are, I'm going back to my niece's saying of, you playing with me.
Yeah.
I think they are playing with us a lot, major. And Barack Obama did have deals on the table that were working. But Trump, anything Barack did, he likes to untie it and say, and then he likes to go try to do something and says, okay, it's me. And it could be exactly what Barack Obama did. But he likes to undo any progress that he felt Obama made. And Iran, the deal with Iran was definitely one of them.
So do you think it's Trump or Israel saying this is what you're going to do?
Well, I truly believe
I
that
don't even think it's Trump. Trump doesn't want war. They're making him do it.
Okay, Trump doesn't want war. Trump doesn't want war. Trump doesn't want war. Okay, I don't know. I don't know, because he's the president of the United States. That used to be the most powerful seat in the world.
He is not the president of the United States.
How is it that these other countries are controlling? And maybe other countries have controlled America for years, Israel
Absolutely.
being one.
And
we just didn't know. In Trump's ineptitude, we get to see, and the information age, we get to see how badly the country has been run for years, and that other countries have really been wagging the dog. And I truly believe Netanyahu is wagging the dog silly.
Yes.
The United
and
States
particularly with
this
president.
Why? Huh?
Particularly with this president, I think he's always had control, but I was doing a little bit of research for here, and they say he's been over to the United States. I can't remember if it was 7 or 13 times in 1 year already.
Right.
Why?
Yeah. The question that we should be asking is people, and there are people that are asking why. I just fear that things might, it's all too late. And while Trump doesn't want war, as you say, what he does want is control of the Gaza Strip. What he does want is
he might want that too, but he want to stay out of jail, and Netanyahu must have something on all of them.
Well, he wants that deal. That whole stay out of jail deal has already been made, but that was made with the Republicans. But he also thinks that he's a real estate man. So if he can get out of this deal, because the peace committee or group or whatever it's called, the Peace Alliance, they are planning to really develop that area. And after Trump is out of office, with that plane that he got from Saudi Arabia, he also has control over what happens to Gaza. This is all being written into the plans because Trump is transactional and real estate is his thing. And his family will be make out like fat cats for the rest of their lives for generation after generation after generation. So he's trying to be greater than Putin if he can, right? So, and because U.S. is Israel's strongest ally, any conflict involving Israel often pulls us into the mix.
You telling me when the Democrats get back in power, they're not going to go after prosecuting all of them?
It depends because Democrats,
weak.
The white man, and I'm going to go Democrats, the white man has from one administration to the other looked at the previous administrations and said, you know what, everything's good. We're not going to come after you for this, that, and the other. You're good. Go on about your business, and we're just going to move forward, and we're going to pretend like we don't see all the mess that you made and blah, blah, blah. Well, they cannot do that with this administration. If we are able to get back in, let's say the Democrats are able to get back in and move things forward, the question is, will they rename the Kennedy Center, the Kennedy Center, drop off the Trump name? Will they rename the Gulf of Mexico, America, back to the Gulf of Mexico? Will they rebuild alliances who will not trust us going forward? Will they undo all of the mess? And will they begin to become more honest with the people that Israel has been using us as their, and this is going to be like what you would say, but I'm going to say as their bitch? Will the Democrats be bold enough to cut it off and reestablish the country as something very different than it was, which means rewriting the Constitution even, right? Will they be able to do that? Republicans are not. They're going to rewrite it. They're probably going to rewrite it, but it's going to be more of a fascist approach. But will we take democracy and make it really democracy? Democrats have never been brave enough to color outside of the lines, where the lines were disappearing anyway.
Yeah, the no, I don't think the Democrats will do that, because if we think about it, we wouldn't even be here if Biden would have took care of Trump on January the 7th.
There's a lot that Biden should have done that he did not do, including address the Supreme Court issues, address statehood issues. There's so much that could have been done, and he did not want. He said he didn't want to expand the courts. Well, expanding the courts were necessary, which I think the Republicans, if they get an opportunity, they're going to expand the courts. They will definitely expand the courts.
They want to lay all of that mess and blame at our feet, at the people's feet, because you guys screwed up. I think we did what we were supposed to do. We got out and voted. It was the most, even then, it was the most detrimental race that we had to get out and vote for Biden. We did it, and what did we get for it? That's what I'm saying. This is why I'm not with the James thing. We went to him. We went to the president. We had what we wanted, correct? Didn't get it. So now he lost.
What did we want? What did we want from Biden?
We really wanted that Floyd George bill. That was one of the main things they were fighting for.
Okay. We didn't get it because
it was what was the other one? The college cancellation, student loan, and then it did not the way he originally said it. He included everyone, right?
Well, what else was he supposed to do? It wasn't going to be just for black people, because now you're talking reparations. Nah, we're not doing reparations for black people.
It was supposed to be something for black people. That's how it started. And then
I don't know.
It started that way. And then it was if you have already been paying on it for a certain amount of time. That wasn't the requirement. He changed everything.
Yeah, well,
that wasn't the understanding that the people had. Now
I got it, but you know what? If there are 5 of us and we all have an equal vote, Mona, and you say, hey, let's do this, and 2 of us says, yeah, let's do that, but 3 of us says, no, we're not doing that. We're just not doing that unless you're able to convince one more person to get on your side, right? Sure. And if the voters didn't give you the majority so that you could do that,
what you
want to do is dead in the water. And to me, it's as simple as that. but
He has the majority.
you don't see it as simple as that.
No, because
All
he
right.
had the majority the first 2 years.
He had Christian Cinema and that other guy up in that state. I forgot the state even.
I don't care.
Manchin, Joe Manchin. He had 2 Republicans in Democrat clothing. And that was a non-starter who made a deal with Mitch McConnell to say, I will do this, but here's what you're going to have to do. And you will not vote against the filibuster. And that became their thing. And all of a sudden, Christian became the Republicans' darling. So I get it, but the white political way of being is not good for this country, is certainly not good for us, the way they play in that middle where you can't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you experience. That's what we experience with Christian Cinema, and because they were doing the Republicans stuff. I mean, they were doing it and purposely torpedoing Biden's Build Back Better bill because they had made deals with the devil. So no student loan forgiveness, no George Floyd Voting Rights Act, which had passed every time it went through Congress, it was unanimous, and then bang, suddenly it stopped. Why is that, right? Do you blame the president, or do you blame a very sick political system that is designed, that understands that their control is about to end as those brown people keep coming across that border?
I blame the president.
I really tried to convince you otherwise.
No, I blame the president. You get the president. You go over there and get your people in line. I mean, moving forward from what we see Trump doing, we're not going to allow excuses anymore. Now, I don't care if it's right, wrong.
You think Trump is an anomaly because Jasmine Crockett tried to be authentic and they said, you're out of here. You think Trump is an anomaly, that you don't get many Trumps? Like you will not get Trump like that again. Anybody else who tries it gets kicked to the curb. Trump is an anomaly, and the next person coming in is going to be able to do what he's done.
You better get kicked to the curb trying. Definitely try.
Okay, and who tried? They didn't try for us, but they tried for Gaza. Jamal Bowman, we always say this, and Cori Bush. They tried to go against the grain, and just what she said, you are out of here.
And just what she's doing, she's rerunning, and I guarantee you she's going to win because the people know now. The people saw the person they put in there haven't done anything, wasn't really fighting for. So she's running in November.
For me, the key in what you said is the people know now.
Yeah,
the people.
You might lose. You might lose, and it's okay. Yes, don't be
Jasmine
afraid.
Lost, and it is okay.
And it is okay because she's going to turn out to do something even bigger and better.
But is it something that's a strategic kind of direction for the betterment of Black people? What's the bigger and better? And that's the thing you leave on the table.
I'm sure she haven't even planned it because
she should not be planning it. We should be planning something.
We haven't even planned it. We keep saying, what's the agenda? You and I got one.
Well,
what's the agenda?
There's a lot of agendas out here. There's a lot of agendas, but you know, I'm just going to call up Jasmine tomorrow.
Yeah, do that.
I'm serious. It's like, I'm going to just call her up and say, hey, Jasmine, consider this. Consider this, because we need somebody who's going to be able to not necessarily go out and try to move the masses, but are going to be able to begin making some strategic moves that people might, like me, will say, I can buy into that. And then I start joining you and you start building the mass. You don't have to have all of us. You need a critical mass that says, you know what, I'm with you on that. But you've got to figure out how to do it in such a way where your 1,067,000 followers, voters that voted for you, say, yeah, I can do that. And it doesn't mean that you go against Talarico. It means that my dog is throwing up. So I have he threw up next to me and I just heard him throw up again. I'm not even sure what's going on there.
What's wrong with him? What did he eat?
Sometimes he drinks more water than he needs to. Because I have a lot of water in that kitchen and I heard him lapping it up. Well, the good thing is it's not on the rug, it's on the floor. I can clean the floor.
Easy to clean up. Yes.
Oh, I love it. I used to have a lot of carpet. It's like, oh, thank God he's not on the rug. But
we're pretty done with the night. This is good conversation.
Yeah, I
we
think
got a
so.
lot of work. We got a lot of work to do, a lot of work to look forward to. We have our elections coming up here.
Stop. No.
Got our county commissions, some judge races coming up.
We do have a couple of judges. My friend Don Scott noted that he had some judges. He said he sent them our way, said, hey, they got this podcast. And I told him that I would get with them, talk to them. We will talk to them. And as we decide how we're going to begin vetting judges. But I'm going to touch bases with them to say, we're going to look at your information and then we can decide when and where over the next 3-4 months. We're going to be planning to talk with candidates everywhere across the board.
So with the judges, I would say automatically know should be if they're part of the Federalist Society.
All right.
That should be a hard
no. I didn't even have to fight with you because I'm just so anti-Federalist Society that
yes.
That's what I said.
It's almost like APAC. We can't deal with them because we can't be fighting.
I agree.
Against the system, the judges who wearing the KKKs. These people they're awful. So
yeah. I think one judge said to me, some candidate, she said, "Yeah, we're going to be friends," and I said, "I'm going to do the research, and that will determine whether we're going to be friends because."
Absolutely.
Because judges show up at events, and this was an event with the Democrats, what have you. Judges think that they can infiltrate because it's nonpartisan and develop relationships. And before you know it, you got some crazy nut that's following Trump stuff.
You got some crazy right wing nuts sitting up there. Yes. It is the same thing with the guy in North Carolina. Who's running for I think he's running for Senate too. And Roy Cooper, I think the one.
Yeah, Roy Cooper is Democrat, right?
Mm-hmm. But because he was governor, and I remember this case. I even know that thing because on the Clay Claims show on Wednesday, he talks to men who's been exonerated. Okay. And this guy sat in prison for 40 years, and they knew he was innocent.
Yeah.
And Cooper didn't want to do anything about it. So I'm like, you evil people. You know. So even that race, you guys figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Also, I just got back from the authors tour, tour. It was, again, I hate bus rides, and I was doing it because I am.
You sit back and you can read a book. You're not driving. You just riding.
I do not. I was not reading a book. I was doing some research on the internet and that type of thing. But for the most part, I slept. But sleeping is just so uncomfortable. But the stops were amazing. I think Ursula and her counterpart Ingrid out of Atlanta put together an absolutely wonderful tour. We went to Royal, Florida, which I never heard of, but Royal, Florida is apparently
Albany.
where,
Is that
yeah,
up north?
it's over there near the villages because we also stopped in the villages. Um, it was this is a place where there's a lot of black people with beautiful land. I swear I was back in the 1800s, land about 40 acres or 80 acres. And these are people who have been able to hang on to their 40 acres in from the 1800s. And that was pretty impressive. Um, that great discussion. I just loved that. Then we went to the villages and to see all those black retirees.
Now,
The happy black
what is
retiree.
what is the villages?
It's over there outside, over near, I don't know, Orlando. You hear about the villages all the time because there's a whole bunch of white people over there retiring, and they were typically Republican, but they started swinging toward Democrat. But you hear about them around. I have a friend that lives over there, near Disney, and
Oh,
it's just a bunch
okay.
of old retirees that are living together, having a good time.
Okay.
Um, I didn't realize there were that many black people over there, but there's a nice little group of black folks that
Celebration
retired
Station
well.
somewhere in there.
Yeah, that retired extremely well. And then we went to Atlanta to Clark Atlanta University, and that was great. I had never been on the campus, but of course, there's Morehouse and Spelman in there, so we spent time there. And then we went to Montgomery, Alabama, and EJ Initiative and their facility, just beautiful. And the information was amazing. It was very daunting to watch them tell the story of when we landed here in 1619 and beyond. It was just great. The incarceration, all of it, and the work that Brian Stevenson does and his team is just amazing. Then we went and all the authors that were on the tour got to talk about their books to people. It was book sales, just a brilliantly put together tour. And then we went to Tallahassee to their archive, FAMU, to their Black archives, which is also amazing.
That's amazing, isn't it? I've taken the tour. My cousin graduated from there, and one Saturday he took us on a tour of it. It's very nice. Were you able to get videos or pictures where we could do a slideshow?
I have so many pictures, and today I was too busy trying to catch up on other stuff, but I'm going to put the video day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4 together for them and send it off, but I'll also share it online. So it'll be nice. Yep.
Because I could just picture it, but we need a visual.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. And but anyway, kudos to Sula 2, Ursula's History Shop, and Rescuing History, which is the nonprofit. I'm on the board for the nonprofit. They really have started something very special that I hope they continue doing. Yeah. So Ursula has been on with us for a couple of times with authors, so I got to know the authors better and a whole lot more. It was great.
So
okay.
No. I was looking for my applause, but I don't know where it went.
Your applause is in your media assets, and scroll on down. You want to see? There you go.
Yeah, but I'm not absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
I changed my screen up a little, so hey.
Yeah, y'all see, we're just yapping right now because we got time. Usually we only have 2 minutes left and we're trying to cram things in, but we had a little time, so I got to share that my experience with Ursula. And until Sunday.
I think that was a great experience, and this is something she's going to do yearly,
Yep.
right? Yep. So
That is the
more,
plan. It
more
would be
people get a
criminal if
chance.
they don't. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more people get a chance to take advantage of it.
Well, I'm going to write a book. I was inspired too by the authors because they were young and old, all of them. I was inspired. In fact, I bought a book for one of my students, not one of my students, for my students that I want to share with them. That was for them. It's a fantastic little book. But I am going to be writing my book. I have a book that I'm co-writing with my niece, but I'm also writing a book that has to do with my art and what inspires the pieces and whatever else. It'll likely be a coffee table book, nice size, big pieces of the art. And yeah, I'll do a little research.
That'd be really nice.
Yeah, that's my plan. That's my plan. So I said next time I'll be presenting, because the audience, the local people from Atlanta, the local people, they come in and they listen to the authors and they buy books. That was brilliant, just brilliant. So
Saturday we went to the Gasparilla Art Festival. So
I love that.
Yeah, we met some interesting of course artists. I saw some beautiful pieces that I want, but it's like, I just heard where you people start charging 16,000, 20,000 for a piece of art. Yeah.
It's a lot.
They had some beautiful pieces.
The most I've ever bought from there, it was around 3,500. And it actually
that's where most things were starting. Everything you looked at was, but it was beautiful.
And again, like, my pieces have just gone up in the last couple weeks.
I know.
And I'm like, yay. But anyway, all right. And one day we'll have some artists on at some point. Actually, we'll have the Skills Center, because I am working on another project, the gallery at 5107. We're partnering with the Suncoast Black Arts Collective out of Sarasota, using their blueprint to bring Black art. And I've been talking about this for a while, but we're finally meeting a second meeting with Celeste and with Michelle Redwine, the CEO of the SBAC. We're going to be meeting with Harriet Jackson. Do you know Harriet?
I think
Harriet is co-owner of venue at 2107 on Main Street.
Yeah.
Because Main Street's going to be one of those deep places to be at some point.
Revenue.
And we are going to use those white walls to sell Black art there as well. So all of us are coming together on Monday, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm excited about a lot of my projects going on.
Because that's where the crowd is. The people are there. They see it. They look at it. They can scan it and buy.
It's gonna be absolutely fabulous with what I think is about to happen on the art scene for Black artists. I understand there's an art scene out there, and this one is really going to prioritize, not exclude necessarily, but prioritize Black art.
Well, I went inside of apartment building downtown, across from the Strat Center, and I took a tour. And they had some beautiful pieces. I mean, beautiful pieces in there.
Yeah.
But they were all white. And I said, I got the lady card because first thing I thought of was I said, Jeanette has to get her pieces up in here, right? So they weren't trying to include us.
They never really do.
And
But we're
they
trying.
they can't say that they don't know any. They don't even try to reach out. So um I I'm just saying that you says not as exclusive, but yes, exclusive. Black art.
Yeah, we'll be doing that. Anyway, we're at 55, and I will chat with you about what we're going to talk about on Sunday. Right now, I don't know. I have a lot of ideas, but if you have anything that's burning or something happens that you say, let's talk about that, I'm open. Okay.
Sounds good. All right.
All right.
Good.
Ciao. Stay. You know what?
What?